gotta get going.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Y'all ready for this?
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Breeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
It's crunch time.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Crunch Time with Joe and Wags. Scott has strep. He can't be here today. I understand. Get better, man. Strep can be hell. I think Wags has had it a lot. I've actually.
Whoa! Wait a second. All of a sudden, you're presuming you know what sicknesses I've had? Why the hell would I have strep a lot? Is there a certain
Well, when you get
cause for
sick,
strep?
when you get
What
sick,
are you
the
talking
condition,
about?
when you get sick with the condition you have, it gets worse and worse. It's harder to get rid of.
That doesn't mean I get it all the time. Make it sound like I'm doing something where all of a sudden I get strep like all the time. I mean, come on. What's up with that? Oh, hey, you got a chronic disease. You must get strep all the time. What the hell, Joe?
No, I mean, is it true though? When you get sick, it's harder to get rid of.
Well, yeah, when I get sick, my immune system's compromised due to the medication I take and all that stuff. It doesn't mean I get something all the time. Wow.
All right.
Wow,
So
coming in firing today.
So we got Tiger Woods winning the Masters. We got the Cardinals having a so-so series in Mexico. You have the Blues still have a lead in the series, but they're 2-1. We'll talk about that. And you have, I told you something yesterday you want to talk about. Let's get that off.
No. We're going to say that for the end of the show.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're going to say that
no.
Make sure to stick around because we're going to talk about something that Joe did yesterday that makes us question a lot of things. So we're going to hold that nugget until the very end. That way you guys actually have to listen in. You don't know when it's going to happen. It might pop up around the middle of the show. It might pop up near the end.
It might pop up both times.
Stick around because we're gonna unleash something from Joe that well, I mean, you know what? It may not surprise many people at all.
Even Steve Elgin, who's watching right now, because he's questioned me a lot anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Well, this will only add fuel to the fire. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And as Joe makes sure his phone's on silent, because it's a show. But yeah, I mean, this weekend was just full of so much sports. It was ridiculous. I mean, you had the NHL playoffs start, and you had Major League Baseball continuing to go on. You had the Masters this weekend. We're coming off of the high of the NCAA tournament. The NFL draft is coming up soon. NBA playoffs started as well. I mean, this is like this time frame of the end of March, beginning of April. It seems to me to be like the most sports centric, time of the year. I mean, there's at no point in the rest of the year do you get so much going on at one time. You had the NCAA tournament, you had NHL and NBA rolling down the regular season with playoff positioning, being fought for, and now playoffs starting. You had the MLB season starting. You had the Masters. I mean, it's like everything just kind of hit during the end of March into April, and it's like, for me, it's the perfect time of year. It's the best time of year. And the fact that, the Cardinals have started playing well, the Blues are in the playoffs and, had some highs and some lows. And, NCAA tournament is always fun for me. And the Masters, which we're going to talk about here first, that was like, so incredible. So I don't know. If you guys don't know, there's this unknown phenom that came up this past weekend. Came from behind, was down a couple strokes going into the final round. Some guy not many people have heard of. His name is Tiger Woods. Yes, his name is Tiger Woods. I know it's kind of weird out there. Not sure who would name their kid Tiger. But this guy, Tiger Woods, came out of nowhere, it seems like, and took down Francisco Molinari and the rest of the young field and captured the green jacket. It's something I haven't seen before. A guy like this coming from behind and winning the Masters. I mean, What do you think, Joe? I mean, have you ever heard of this guy?
Not really. I'm actually but in all due reality, it's taken him 15 years to win a major.
Wow, that whole thing there that I was building up
let's
for.
Be, let's
you were
be,
like, yeah, let's be honest. No, I've heard of him. But come on, you got to keep the joke going a little bit longer. Jeez.
Man, you're in a great mood today.
Wow.
What put you in this great mood, first of all?
Dude, Tiger Woods won the Masters.
I love it. I love it. I mean, Koepka, I thought maybe a guy like Francesco Molinari would have won it, or a Brooks Koepka, but Tiger Woods seemed determined. You saw that look on his face. He had the Tiger effect at the Masters, like there was at the PGA Championship. If you remember how many people were around Tiger?
I remember. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there, man. I felt it. And it was one of those things. What was there a better story or outcome that could have come from this Masters other than Tiger Woods winning?
No, there couldn't have been anything better than that, because come on, Tiger Woods has worked so hard over the years, because it's number one, his reputation was tarnished.
Well,
at one time, no,
he did it to himself, though.
He did it to himself, but it was tarnished.
Yeah, it certainly was.
So to have a guy make a comeback like that, and we all knew Tiger Woods maybe would win another tournament. At least I did, yeah.
Okay, I was saying not everybody did. There were a ton of people that were like, he's done, he's washed up, he can't even hit the ball. I mean, when he first started coming back, he could barely drive the ball 90 yards. I mean, how many of us actually thought, yeah, he'll come back and win a major and maybe more? I mean, we're not entirely sure about that. But, yeah, I mean, you may have thought that, and there are others out there that probably did. I mean, like you said, I think the PGA last year was like that moment where people were like, "Oh, this could happen," because he came on strong at the end of the PGA last year, and like you said, took Koepka down to the wire essentially, and he won a tournament since, and he's been playing well as of late, and going back to a place that basically changed the course because of him. Going into something comfortable, that you could have seen it coming, and it did. It happened. It happened.
So, what was your reaction after Tiger won it? You're like, yeah.
Oh, I gave the Tiger fist pump. I was like, yeah, man.
Are you a golfer?
Yeah, not a good one.
Okay, what's your best to bad score then?
I really don't know.
You really don't know?
No, I mean, it's been so long. I only played one round last year, and that was the first round I played in like 5 years. So I'm not like an avid golfer. I'm not like every weekend go out and hit some balls and go play around. No, I want to play more, but I love the game. I think it's I grew up when Tiger Mania was hitting. Not like grew up, but really when my sports fandom and watchhood was starting was during the Tiger Woods era. I mean, in '97 and on. So I grew up with Tiger Woods. I grew up with the fandom and the paranoia, not the paranoia, but the mania. The everything is about Tiger, and he was so dominant. And to see him, one of the heroes and idols I had growing up, as far as golf is concerned, to see him come back and fight back and kind of rewrite the ship essentially was incredible. I was pumped, and I was happy for him. And to be perfectly honest, I think he's got a very good chance of winning a couple more majors over the next couple of years. I mean, I think they said Bethpage and Pebble Beach are places that he's won before, and guess what? Two of the next three majors are at Bethpage and Pebble Beach. So I mean, not saying he's going to win two more this year, but he's going back to comfortable golf courses and places he's won before. You never know. This thing with Nicklaus could tighten up pretty quickly.
Actually, I think he passed Nicklaus. I think it's Nicholson he's trying to catch now. I think
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I mean not Jack. No, Phil Mickelson. Sorry.
What?
I don't know.
You don't know. Jack Nicklaus holds the record for most majors.
Wait, I think Tiger's just behind him though.
He is. Yes,
like maybe by one or
Nicklaus
two.
has 18. Tiger has 15. So he's 3 behind. Wow, Joe.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
There goes
the credibility of this show just went it went from really low to even lower right there. Whew. Whoever's listening, we apologize for that.
I apologize for that. That was a brain brain cramp / brain fart / brain everything. So I do want to ask you about, what do you think of Brooks Koepka in terms of, he won, I think, last year's PGA, didn't he?
He won the PGA and he won another tournament last year. He's won 3 of the last 6 majors he's played in. 3 of the last 7 majors total. Well, now I guess 3 of the last 8. That's a tough one because, he's one of those guys that kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think he was like out of nowhere. I know he's competed a lot and he's been close in a lot of other tournaments and majors and stuff before. But he did kind of come out of nowhere when it came to winning multiples in a short amount of time. He's got a very long game. He's definitely a power hitter. But it's one of those things that sometimes, maybe you peak too soon. He was in it toward the end. He had a chance. I think if he would have birdied 18, he would have put the pressure on Tiger to actually make par. And as we saw, Tiger bogeyed the final hole, which meant they would have actually fallen into a tie and they would have gone to a playoff. At the Masters, with all the weather coming in, you might not have had a winner until today if they would have gone to a playoff. So I think it's one of those things that he's shown that he can hold on to a lead, but could he necessarily, if he's not in the lead, can he come back and put the pressure on? That's I think that's the last thing that you really have to look at before you can say, okay, this guy's, a perennial contender. Yes, he's won 3 majors already, which is incredible. But how many of those was he in the lead going into the final round and just had to hold off versus having to fight to take the lead? Now, I think he might have done that at the PGA. I had to go back and look, but so he may have done that at the PGA. And if he has, then there you go. He's a contender. So I like him. I think he's one of those guys. He's a good personable guy. He's good for the game. He's another one of those young faces that golf needs, because for a long time it was just Tiger Woods and albeit Phil Mickelson. But Mickelson was more of that old guard, whereas Tiger was the new wave, essentially. It was just him. Well, now you've got, Spieth and Koepka and McIlroy and Fowler and just so many guys. Like I would have been thrilled if Ricky Fowler would have won the Masters. That would have been awesome. And I think he can in the near future win the Masters, and that would be amazing for him.
It's good they got that in because there was a big storm system in Atlanta at the time, in Georgia at the time. So it's a good thing they started really early.
Yeah, it was. They knew, and they made the right call too. That's the thing. They saw what was coming, and instead of being like, well, you know what, we'll push it, they were like, no, we're going to get this in. We're going to get this tournament completed. We're not going to let it stretch into Monday. We're going to get everybody in early. And, to be perfectly honest, I think that actually might have benefited Tiger.
How so?
In the sense that, he prepares at an unreal level. And I think no matter what, I think he was going to be up at 3:45 in the morning anyway. So I think it actually benefited him, and because he's used to, just that strict regimen of being up early and just going. Some of these younger guys, maybe not. So I think it's very possible that it actually probably benefited Tiger.
So have you heard about this? Read the last comment, because that...
I did read the last comment. I can talk and read it.
What do you think, though? So. What do you think? Is that true, or...
I don't know. It's something I don't want to look up.
Yeah.
Is Tiger going to be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom? We'll see.
This just in, Tiger will be awarded with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So...
Yeah, it looks like it. TMZ's reporting, and you know how reliable they are. They're actually the most reliable source out there. Dustin thinks, no, Tiger had to be up at 3:30 a.m. to get his body ready to play, and after playing late was tough. Well, if it was tough, then we all know that just to be perfectly honest, probably shows that he is back. Because if he was able to play late, get up early, prepare his body, and then win the Masters, yes, for an older person, going from playing late to getting up early and having to play early again, yes, that's tough on the body. But I think mentally, it was probably a benefit to him. It was probably an advantage for him because, he's always thinking golf. It's boom, boom, boom. It's up here. So, I mean, that's just my thought. What do you think?
I think you're right, but at the same time, I just Tiger's only 45. It's not like he's old. This is not an old, like 60-year-old golfer. Okay, this is a guy who can win multiple majors, in my opinion. But
he's had spinal fusion surgery.
That doesn't matter to this guy. I think
that doesn't matter. Oh, just spinal fusion surgery. That's nothing.
Well, to Tiger,
the dude was only hitting 90-yard drives when he was coming back. That's nothing. Come on. Come on, Joe.
How about this guy Finau?
You're just like, okay, we're gonna move on.
But no, seriously, they were talking about him on the broadcast yesterday being, quote, a phenom. So,
I don't know about phenom, but I mean he played decently well, but he fell back in the pack a little bit as it kind of went on. I mean, Dustin's right. I mean, the new courses, the majors are made for people that shoot long, Brooks, Roy, that sort of stuff. But I mean, Tiger wasn't really. I don't think he was really wowing me with the distance, but his accuracy was incredible. I mean, that tee shot on 16.
Yep.
When he had just taken, I mean, my goodness, he couldn't have stuck that any better. Otherwise, it would have been a hole in one. I mean, that was incredible what he did. And I think, he is back, and I think that he's got a chance at winning a couple more over the next 5 years. Will that get him to a point where he's tied or overtakes Jack Nicklaus? I don't know. I don't know. It's very possible. I don't know if I'd love to see it happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
Best iron player on tour.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm a big Jim Furyk fan. I think he's got a pretty good set of irons as well. But yeah, he's definitely one of the best on tour with his iron play. And like he said, and like Dustin says, if he can putt like he did in 2008, he's tough to beat. And that's the thing. If he can get back, I just remember, nearing the end of his like major run, his putting was just it was almost automatic. You knew he stepped over that ball, it was in. And he made a couple yesterday that were good. As far as putts, there was one, I can't remember which hole it was, but he ended up flying it pretty much to the far end of the green. And it was a long, long putt. And you're thinking, okay, get it to within a couple, maybe about 10 feet to the pin and see what you can do from there. Dude, that dude knocked it within a couple inches. And you're just like, oh, okay, here we go. This is it. He's getting back to form. And yeah, I want to say that was right after. I want to say that was either 16, 17, or it was either 14, 15, or 17. One of those three. I cannot remember off the top of my head. But it was just incredible. And if he get, like he says, if he can get back to putting like that, and he can continue to, hit the ball into the fairway, because he missed the fairway a couple of times yesterday. Hit it into the straw a couple times, and a couple of misfires. But he was able to work around it. He was able to hold steady, and it was incredible. So, hole 9 down the hill. Maybe it was 9. Maybe I was really far ahead of myself. But I have to go back and rewatch the round. But yeah, it was just to me it was an incredible putt.
Do you have it recorded?
No, but you can go on probably the Masters.com and watch a replay. And I'm sure the Golf Channel will replay it. Oh, I don't know, 100 times in the next week, because Tiger Woods won the Masters. So, that's. You're going to be able to find it, I'm sure.
So, what major's next? What is the next major?
That's a great question. Dustin would know.
Yeah, Dustin.
Oh man, come on, Dustin. Give us the list of majors. What's the next one up? I want to say it's the PGA, because I think they moved the PGA to earlier in the season. Because last year, I think it was the last year they held it later in the year. Yeah, it is PGA at Bethpage, which is another place that I believe Tiger's won at. Will we see him go back to back? Probably not. But Who knows? Who knows? Tiger Woods projection from model. I know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Very interesting to see what happens. U.S. Open at Pebble after that. Whoo, boy. If Tiger was able to go on a run of 3 straight majors, that would put him one back of Jack. Oh, man, would that make golf so much more exciting? That's so hard
to do, though, because you got Ricky Fowler, because you got Brooks Koepka, because you have Rory McIlroy.
Dustin Johnson. Justin Thomas. I mean, there's so many guys out there.
By the way, did you see that putter yesterday where it was like almost to your chest? Did you see that?
I've seen that.
Do you think those should be outlawed? Because the belly putter was outlawed.
The belly putter was. It's one of those things I think you can't leverage it against yourself, so you have to have it above you. No, I mean, I don't think it should be outlawed. I mean, like you said, the belly putter was, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm used to the traditional putter, but if it's legal, use it.
Dustin also says he likes Dustin Johnson at Pebble Beach.
Oh, yeah, because his name's Dustin, I'm sure.
I think it's more than that, but nice try, Wags.
Yeah, no, I mean, DJ is a pretty solid player, and married to Wayne Gretzky's daughter, and I think they just had a kid and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think Dustin could probably take Pebble. He's played decently well over the last couple of majors. Rory's kind of fallen back a little bit. To be perfectly honest, I really like Ricky Fowler's play as of late. He and Woods had a nice round a couple weeks ago during match play, which was really good. That was another one of those matches where it looked like Tiger was locked in.
Right. Yeah.
So, I like Ricky Fowler. And I don't know. I like it. So we got a couple of people voting in the poll about how many more majors can Tiger win.
Some people think Tiger can win 3 or more, which, I'm not saying he can't because he has a long way to go. He's not retiring by any means.
No, but it really comes down to his health and his body. I mean, if his body is able to kind of rebound and allow him to play at the level that he wants to play at, 3 or more is not out of the question. Although now, like we were saying, there's so many more people out there that can win that it's going to make it tougher. I mean, but we also saw that, like you said, the Tiger effect was in effect. People faltered when they knew he was there and hanging around and starting to make a charge. I mean, the 12th hole took out 4 or 5 golfers. I mean, I think Molinari had, hit the ball into the water. And I mean, that was the hole where he held steady and everybody else fell down around him. And that was the turning point yesterday was that 12th hole. And maybe it was them thinking Tiger was there. Maybe it just so happened to be the 12th that just kind of threw everybody off. But I think it was the Tiger effect. People were like, oh my gosh, he's not backing down. He's not faltering. He's here and he's getting stronger as this round goes on. And lo and behold, they falter. He takes the lead. The crowd starts going nuts for him. And then he's a winner.
Yep, I cannot wait to watch the next 2 majors. At least I didn't get to watch the Masters till the final round, but I feel like of any golf tournament, that's the best day to watch because then you have the
last round is the best. The last round is the best round to watch. Really.
What is it to you? You watch golf. What is it to you?
The whole tournament. I mean, I think the best day to watch is Saturday, moving day.
Moving up
because everybody, it's one of those things where you got to make your move then, because generally on Sunday it's about either maintaining your lead or pushing to get there, and it's exciting. Don't get me wrong, but Saturday is that moving day where guys need to make some shots. They got to put themselves in a position to either be close to catch or put themselves way far ahead so they can kind of just go through an easy round. I think Saturdays is probably the best day to watch. So that's just my thought. But a lot of people do like Sunday because there is drama. There is the crowning of a champion. So it's the end. It's the finish line. I don't blame anybody for liking Sunday. For me personally, I like watching Saturday more just because so much stuff can happen and so many guys are pushing to put themselves in a position for Sunday to me, that makes it exciting. But Sunday's right there for me too. I mean, obviously yesterday was one of those days where you're like, I'm sitting down in front of the TV and I'm watching because Tiger's in contention. He's in the final group. Boom. Here you go. And it turned out to be incredible.
Let's turn our attention to another sport now. And I'm not talking baseball. I'm not talking hockey. Wags, you going to bowl next year for league?
Like next year, like 2020?
Well, I mean, are you going to bowl in league this coming up fall?
Probably not. No, I'm pretty well booked up right now, which is really kind of crazy.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'll tell you a little bit later. I don't want to spoil your ad because you're going to be talking about Dew Bowl, which is your lanes, man. That's your alley. That is your alley. Talk about it.
All right, let's talk about Dew Bowl lanes. They've been in business for 43 years. They are a family-owned business, and it will not break the bank during the week. $1 day is Tuesday all day, $2 every other day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And if you can't make it till the weekend, you know what? It doesn't matter because it's not going to break the bank either because you have $2.75 per game on weekend days, $3 on weekend nights, and they're open on Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to midnight and 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And if you want to go get a drink in their bar, that's not going to break the bank either. I think I bought a beer the other day there for $2.25.
You think you bought a beer?
Hey, it's for effect. Just let me have that.
I mean, they must have been really good because you probably had a few if you don't remember if you bought it.
That's very true.
So,
what is your beer of choice, Wags?
Finish your ad first, man.
I did.
You did?
Yeah. What is your beer of choice? Come on, since we're talking about it.
I'm not a huge beer drinker, so right now it's Bud Light, which is obviously sometimes people are like, it's Bud Light, yuck. But I've actually started to dabble in some craft beers, and I've actually started to fall in love with some sour beers, which I never thought I would. But I had a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it was pretty good. So I'm starting to expand my palate a little bit. I didn't. This is going to show how much of a goody two shoes I am. I didn't have my first alcoholic beverage until I was probably in my mid-20s. So I didn't really like beer is still one of those things where I'm kind of like just getting into it. So I'm still finding where I'm at on beer. But I'm getting there. Getting there.
Hey, so. Jeff Whitener tuned in. I'm actually doing a game with him tomorrow. Jefferson Blue Jays at Herculaneum Black Cats tomorrow on Livestream STL. Game starting at 4:30. I will be posting it to this page. I will be posting it to my regular page. So, Wags, what are you doing tomorrow? Are you going to be able to watch any of that?
I got work and discipleship tomorrow, so I'm booked solid. I told you, man, I am booked.
Well, at least we have this show too, and that book show.
Well, at least we have the show. Yes, at least we have the show. That's at least we've got that.
No, but I mean, seriously, this show has been awesome. We're almost to the point we're at a year.
Getting close to a year.
We need to think of like a celebration or something we do. We'll think about that. We'll talk to you guys about that later. What do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about baseball? Or do you want to talk about hockey?
That's a good question because either one of them can brighten my mood and break my neck. That's pretty much. And yes, the more I drink, the better Hambone does look. So that's why you don't see any adult beverages in the room because it could get a little bit funny if that.
Hey, we talked about having Jack here.
We know how Joe feels about me.
We've talked about having Jack here.
Yeah, we also know how you feel about me. Never looking at Scott, it's always at me. Little weird.
So no, but that'll be a good game tomorrow. Actually, Jefferson's having a good season, very good season.
Good.
Melville, on the other hand, I'll talk about them later in the wrap up. They're falling not on hard times, but it could be better than it is.
We'll talk about them a little bit. So, I mean, have you been seeing a lot of games?
Or? Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of any games I can be at anyway. But the thing is, they're lucky to be only 2 games under right now. And I'll tell you guys why. They're taking bad at bats. They, I mean, actually, no. The bad at bats is the main thing. They're not taking competitive at bats at all. And when you get runners on, you need to score them. Their defense has been better this year, which is a welcome sight from the last couple of years. But defense can only help you so much. You got Christian Harvey, who pitches really good. Andrew Chitwood is on the shelf with a rotator cuff.
Ooh.
I mean, look, these guys, they doubled their win total from last year, and they can do some good with this season, but they can't waste good pitching. When you waste good pitching, it just pisses off your coach, pisses off people that come to watch you, even your parents. They may not show it to you, but it does tick them off.
It's high school, though.
It is high school, but I don't know. I guess baseball with me, I get a little bit more testy when I see things like that because baseball is my sport, man. I love baseball. Baseball is a sport I'm really passionate about, and it shows. And you even know that.
Oh
from
yeah.
the show.
Oh yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, I just don't. I don't know, but they play Kirkwood today, so I'm gonna go to that game, and we'll see what happens.
What time do they play today?
4:15.
Oh, that means you got to book it. No,
actually, no, because I can still do a wrap up and be out here by 3:30.
Oh, really? You think so?
Actually, 3:45.
Oh boy!
If I'm late to a game, Coach even said if you're late to a game, it's fine. So, look, I'm gonna still be here to do the wrap up, and I'll be here as long as I can, because it is and I haven't done a wrap up in 2 weeks. So
I haven't had any interviews or anything in the last couple of weeks.
So yeah, that will be back today. Since we talked about high school baseball, let's just get into the Cardinals. All
right, go ahead.
All right, the St. Louis Cardinals went to Mexico. Actually, do we want to start during the week? Last week?
You talk about the Cardinals, you can do whatever you want. I mean, the series against the Dodgers was actually much better than I thought. I did not know what to expect. I mean, we had played well over the weekend, and then going into the Dodgers series, it was like, okay, what are we gonna do?
A Dodger team without Kershaw.
Yeah, but Kershaw's not the only. I mean, they've got a good team. They've got a pretty good team, and Kershaw's not gonna be he's not the only guy on that team. He's not going to win you every single game because he's not pitching every single day. He's not the one out there hitting. And the Dodgers were playing well. I think they were sitting in first place when they came in here over the week. And, they took them out 4-3, 4-0, 7-2, 11-7. I mean, and the fact that they came back on Thursday, they were down, 7-4 and scored, 7 unanswered runs?
Yep.
I mean, it showed you that, this Cardinals team might not be as bad as we think. Ozuna's starting to heat up at the plate, which is something we really, really needed.
You got Goldschmidt, who, yes, he's having a bad start. Let's be honest.
He had a bad start last year, though.
Yeah, but
so
you hate for that to be a trend every year where he's having a bad start every year.
But if you know it's going to happen, then you can kind of plan for it. I mean, that was the whole thing with Jake Allen too. Are we going to give Paul Goldschmidt the same sort of treatment we gave Jake Allen when we knew every single January he was going to suck?
Well, actually, this year with Allen, it was the first part of the season.
Yeah, this year the whole year sucked essentially for Allen. But I mean, how much of that was his fault and how much was it the team's play? But we'll get into the Blues a little bit later.
Yeah. Who in the hell made the schedule? Because think about this: we're facing Milwaukee 9 times this month.
Well,
9 times in the first month.
Only 6 times this month.
6, okay.
9 times in the first month and week. We played them in, March, and this is April.
I mean,
so
well, you get my point.
Semantically, technically, it was March and April.
Wise is trying to bust my balls here, so
I mean, yeah. So really, it's more than a month. But no, I mean, it was the same thing. We talked about this before the season started. It was the same thing with the Blues and Blackhawks this year. They played 4 of their 5 games in the first month of the season, and then our last game against them was the very last week of the season. Same thing with Milwaukee. I mean, we've got 9 of our games within the first month and week of the season. And while that's all well and good to, have lots of divisional play, it's, what team are you going to see from both sides when they play next? I mean, how much more of an effect would it be on the standings if they kind of spaced it out at different points of the season when the teams are playing at different levels and kind of allowed the division to kind of pan out from there? Because like right now the Cardinals are only a half game back. I mean, they started off not terribly, but they didn't start off all that well coming into this week. And all of a sudden we're sitting a half game out of first place. And with a good series, we could be in first place by the time the 3-game set's over. So, and then the next week we could be back in second because we play them 3 more times. So I don't know. It's really, really interesting how they, kind of make the schedule. And that's actually something I would love to get into is kind of looking at how schedule making works and how they do it, and even maybe get into schedule making, which would be really cool.
For what? Like, what would you want to do? Like
any
for like high school too, maybe? Or
no, I'm just talking about
actually who does the high school schedules? Because I've been hearing it's more the ADs, but
probably. Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah, but anyway,
I'd love to get into major league schedule making. I mean, NHL, MLB,
NFL,
stuff like that. And well, NFL's pretty easy. Hey, every Sunday you're playing.
No, you got Thursday night games.
Thursday,
you got Monday
and Mondays,
night games.
and you got some Saturdays. But almost every week you're going to have a game. At least one game on Sunday. There's at least one on Sunday. At least one. So, I mean, that'd be something that actually kind of intrigues me and would be interesting to kind of look and see, what it takes to become a schedule maker, what kind of things they look for. I mean, obviously you have to look at venues and what venues are available. And obviously with certain seasons, baseball season, there's only so much that can go on at a baseball stadium. You have some concerts here and there, but for the most soccer games, that sort of stuff. But, arenas, a whole different story. You can have circuses and concerts and trade shows and all that stuff. And that's the whole thing. That was the whole thing with the Dome when the Rams were here. It was conventions and all that kind of stuff. Well, with Major League Baseball, there's only so much you can really do at a baseball stadium. So the entire summer block is really just set up to be, how it all fits. So yeah, that's something I would love to do. And it's actually something when my brother and I were growing up over the summer, we would actually do stuff like that. We would actually, because we were big time card collectors. So baseball cards, hockey cards, that sort of stuff. So we would take the baseball cards and the hockey cards, we would create teams from those cards. And then we would make up a schedule for a season, and we would kind of play the season out with different types of games. We had dice games, we had, other kinds of games that we would play to determine winners and stuff like that. But we would write out the schedule that we would have every team playing and all that stuff. And, that was a fun thing to do over the summer for us because we didn't really do a whole lot. So yeah, being able to maybe do that for a job would be amazing. I don't know. That's just me.
You're a nerd.
I am a freaking nerd. You kidding me? For someone that hates math, I love numbers.
You hate math, really? I mean, come on.
I hate the advanced math. I hate the trigonometry and the calculus and all that crap.
Oh, I mean, you like
addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, percentages. Cool with me. When you start throwing letters in there, screw that.
So you don't like
geometry?
No, equations.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you have equations, plus, minus, multiplication.
No,
those
but I mean,
equations.
but I mean equations with a variable in there, like not a variable, but like a letter in there.
It depends. There are some that like basic. What is it? Algebra. Basic algebra. I'm cool with. If it's A equals B plus C, and I got B and C and can figure out A, or I have A and C and need to figure out B, I can get all that stuff. But it's when you start getting into like ridiculous kinds of algebra, and when you get into proofs with calculus and all that crap, it's like, no, that's not me. I'm fine with figuring out basic numbers and equations, some letters, geometry a little bit, but anything more than that, I am definitely not smart enough to even think about. So let's leave that to the mathematician geniuses and let them figure out the what is it, the I don't know, just the big headspace of math. That's not me. That's not me at all.
So speaking of geniuses, do you want to figure out why Miles Mikolas hasn't been the same? As granted, I know he's not going to be the same as he was. I mean, we want him to be, but they signed him after 1 year. You had to think some regression was going to be there. I mean, What do you think?
Well, I think that they shouldn't have signed him right off the bat before the season started because you only had one season of kind of, hey, this is what he did last year. It was the pitcher that was coming in that no one knew anything about. There wasn't a whole lot of major league tape on him. It was, yes, there was some stuff from Japan and all that stuff, but it wasn't major league batters he was facing. It wasn't, guys that, were playing in the majors that had seen him in the minors or anything like that. That he was a kind of an unknown. So they were kind of unsure of what he would do. Now there's tape on him. And, that he's also not executing it like he did last year, but he also started the season off kind of slow last year as well. He started off spring training slow as well. So I'm not worried yet because he didn't pitch all that badly in his last start, yesterday. But the next two are going to be pretty important. He's going to be going up against the Mets coming up this weekend, and he'll probably be facing the same Reds team the weekend after that. So these next two starts, especially considering both of those will come at home, they're two pretty big starts for him coming up. Dakota Hudson's getting the start tonight against Freddie Peralta. That's another start that's pretty important as well. So this pitching staff is, Adam Wainwright looked good for 5 2/3 innings or 6 1/3.
He only gave up 2 home runs.
He only gave up 2 home runs that tied the game. He looked good. He had a no-hitter into the 5th or into the 6th. 2 home runs. They weren't able to, win the game because of that. They wait, and once you said, you can't waste good pitching. And the Cardinals got good pitching from Adam Wainwright in a stadium that, as we saw Sunday, was very susceptible to the big fly. Ozuna crushed one. He destroyed that baseball. And he hit 2 that day. O'Neill hit one pretty deep. Carpenter hit one. Wong hit one on Saturday night to the opposite field. So, for him for Wainwright, off a lefty the opposite way. But for Wainwright to go almost, go through 5 no-hit innings and then to surrender 2 home runs, maybe it's one of those things that, he's only going to be one of those guys that can go 5 and get 5 really, really strong, good innings out of them and then kind of seed it over the bullpen. We'll see. But
I guess John Gant would always be his backup.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something about John Gant. Jeez, this guy's been good.
Yeah.
This guy's been really good. He's got an ERA under 1. He's 3-0.
Got a save under his belt as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's become the Matt Bowman of this team right now.
No, he's become the Seth Maness of this team without all the ground balls.
Well, then how is he Seth Maness?
Because Seth Maness got out of jams.
Because he got ground balls. Which is totally different. Totally different. I mean, come on. No, he's becoming that reliable man in the bullpen that you can go to almost in any situation, and he'll pitch well. You can't really say that for anybody else right now in the bullpen. So I think it's still them trying to figure it out, and it's still early in the season. We're only 3 weeks in, 4 weeks now.
Yep.
So there's still plenty of time, but we got to get these guys right, like an Andrew Miller. We got to make sure Hicks is kind of solid and on a good path. Dominic Leone's looked decent. I've been okay. I've been okay with his pitching so far.
How about Andrew Miller?
He's getting better. He's starting to locate a little bit more. He's starting to get into a rhythm. So I think it's one of those things. I mean, coming to a new team, coming to a new league, there's some adjustment. There's an adjustment period, and he's starting to figure it out a little bit. So I'm good with Andrew Miller. I mean, it's not like the same situation with Greg Holland last year or Brett Cecil. Miller's had success and good success, and it's just an adjustment period for him. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think at the end of the day, it will be a great move by the Cardinals to have gotten Andrew Miller. That's all I'm going to say.
So what do you think about the extreme? I think we've talked about this before, but I want to bring it up again. The shift. I want to bring up the shift, and I also want to bring up how bad that field was in Mexico, because the thing was with that, Mexico That turf, man, that ball jumped at players. That I've never seen something like that before.
You've never seen AstroTurf?
I've seen AstroTurf,
There
but
you
that
go.
was not AstroTurf.
Well, I know, but AstroTurf did the same sort of thing. I mean, for years they played on AstroTurf. I mean, not any of the guys currently playing right now, but I mean, AstroTurf is something that was a part of the game. So, you know, I would have liked to have seen MLB kind of really get a little bit more of a handle on, you know, the playing conditions.
Especially bases.
Well,
because
yeah.
Did you see Fowler get hurt? Well, he didn't get hurt, but you know.
Did you see him get hurt? Well, I mean, he didn't.
Well, I mean,
hurt.
Dexter or Bryce Harper a couple years ago got hurt because of that.
That was because it was a slick base during a rainy game. That's totally different than poor management of a stadium. you can't be like, well, the base was wet because it was raining, which is entirely the fault of the grounds crew. No, that's Mother Nature. If the base was poorly designed and badly used, then yeah, that's on the grounds crew and the team. But
is it the
because it's
crew?
wet because it's raining?
Is it the grounds crew? What do you think? Because you saw it.
I mean, it's the owners of the stadium. I mean, it's making sure that they have the proper equipment out there, the best equipment out there. And when you're hosting two Major League Baseball teams, you should probably have the best of the best out there. You know, I mean, MLB should. It's just like the NHL when they do the Winter Classic. They got an ice guru. He goes around and he makes sure the ice is perfect for whatever outdoor game there is. You know, the NFL when the Rams and Chiefs were going to play down in Mexico. You know, they made a call and they're like, look, this is not up to the standards that we, as a league, want our guys playing on, concussions and all that stuff aside. You know, this isn't a field that we want the teams playing on. You know, MLB, I don't know if they signed off on the stadium or any of that stuff. I'm not sure what their part of it was, but you know, you got to make sure that you're protecting your players, even if you're not marketing them. You got to make sure you're protecting your players.
Right.
And if MLB signed off on it, then it's all on MLB because they are the ones that should be there monitoring it, making sure that their stars, whoever they're stars for, are protected. So I think it's, you know, more MLB dropping the ball, pun intended, than anything else. Did you also see the stadium look pretty empty? It didn't look as packed as I thought it was going to be.
So was it really raising weight or trying to grow baseball? Because
I mean, I think it was. I mean, it's always about trying to grow baseball when you're playing in a different country. But I mean, how much of it, you know, how much bigger would it have been if they would have been in the Dominican?
Puerto Rico.
Because
of just think about that, Yachty going back to Puerto Rico.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, you know, that, you know, Central America, people are going to, you know, if they want to see their favorite players, they're going to, just like in the United States, they're going to kind of flock to where they're at. So, but it's also not the same sort of economy as the United States. So it's probably tougher for people to, you know, if their favorite players are coming to somewhere near them, how easy is it for them to get there?
I agree.
That's the other part of it. So, I mean, like if you really want to grow the game, I mean, it's not like going to the Dominican or Puerto Rico. The game's growing there, you know, obviously because you're having stars coming out of there, you're having players come out of there. So going to Mexico is probably more about growing the game in Mexico and kind of building up and budding stars from there. But you know, if you're looking to get the bang for your buck, yeah, Dominican or Puerto Rico probably would have been the way to go.
Not Mexico City.
No,
Monterrey.
Monterrey. Yeah. I mean, I think they still had a good crowd, but I just think it probably could have been bigger. But that's just
the Reds are used to that, so.
Oh, they actually saw more fans there than they've seen in Cincinnati this year. Ouch.
You had to know that was coming because the Reds can, even though Yasiel Puig's there, they're not filling up that stadium at all.
Well, I mean, how much is Yasiel Puig fill stands for people?
Well, they liked his attitude. They like Yasiel Puig's attitude in Cincinnati. They actually love him there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he's done wonders. I think he's definitely changed a whole lot. But you know, people still aren't flocking to see Yasiel Puig play. I mean, I wouldn't flock to see Yashiel Puig.
Let's
play.
hope Harrison Bader's injury is not that bad because did you see Tyler O'Neill in center field? He made two bad plays. Made two bad plays in this series. One in game 1, one in game 2. The game 1 I can actually understand because he dove for the ball and he didn't get it. That's something. But game 2, he had the ball in his glove in center field and it just popped out.
Could have been unlucky too. I mean,
then he's been unlucky this series.
There you go. There you go. I was just looking up Monterey, where it kind of falls in the country of Mexico. It's actually just not a little. It's a couple hundred miles away from the
Texas border.
So it's one of those things that it's not super close to, any. I mean, Dominican and Puerto Rico obviously are with Cuba in between. So it would be a huge amount of travel for those, people in those countries to travel to Monterey.
It would make more sense to have the Cardinals play like Houston or the Cardinals play the Rangers. Just not the Reds. That was MLB dropped the ball on that. No pun intended there, because look, people in Texas, they will travel. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you're trying to grow the game in Mexico, though. So, I mean,
maybe MLB didn't do enough when it comes to
to be perfectly honest, I didn't know that the game was being played in Mexico until a week before the game was to be played. Like, I didn't know it wasn't one of those things that it was hitting my face that, hey, the Cardinals are going to be playing the Reds in Mexico. There was none of that. I didn't hear anything. I was listening to one of the games last week. I think it was one of the games against the Dodgers, and they were talking about, this week the Cards will be playing in Mexico against the Reds. I was like, wait, what? They're playing in Mexico against the Reds? What's that all about? Like, there was at least in my mind, there was nothing that made me go, hey, the Cardinals are playing in Mexico. This is pretty cool. They're doing this and they're doing that and all this. None of that was put in front of me.
It seemed like the ball flied out of there.
It did fly. Oh, yeah, it did. Most definitely flew out of there.
Cardinals will be back on the weekend. They got some good giveaways this weekend. They have.
I know. I really want to go on Saturday.
I do too. Actually, I am going. So.
Oh, I want to go on Saturday too. Oh wait, I am. Come on, Joe.
But no, I'm going Saturday. Don't worry, I'll send you a picture of it.
Oh yeah. Let's pick me up one too.
Don't worry, I might. I'll see if someone leaves around if they're. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't do that.
I want to go to the game. Oh wait, I am. Don't worry, I might if someone leaves it. You can't do that. You can't be like, oh, don't worry, I might. Those they don't go together, Joe.
Okay,
those don't go together.
Okay, so they're playing the Mets this weekend. You're probably going to see Syndergaard and DeGrom, more than likely. At least one of them. At least one of them. DeGrom hasn't looked so good. Early. I know it's early, but DeGrom has not looked really good at all. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's a, quote, hangover? Or
I haven't seen him pitch this year, so I'm not entirely
sure. Apparently, Julio Teheran outpitched him last night in the Sunday night game.
Oh, but Julio Teheran is a pretty good pitcher.
When he wants to be. There are times where he gets blown the hell out, and there are times that
I think it happens to every pitcher.
Yeah,
I think even Randy Johnson got blown out a couple of times. I don't know, against the Cardinals. So you said DeGrom pitched last night.
Yeah.
So if that holds true, I guess let's look at the Mets schedule and see who they're playing. But if they're only playing a 3-game set, that would put him in line probably. Syndergaard goes tonight. So that would mean
Syndergaard on Saturday.
No, Syndergaard would not go on Saturday.
He'd probably
be on Sunday. So you'd probably have DeGrom on Saturday, Syndergaard. So 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So you'd have DeGrom on Saturday and Syndergaard on Sunday. So yeah, you're gonna see them both.
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah, not
the best scenario for the St. Louis Cardinals at all.
But that's the thing. You're going to have to go up against the best sometimes. I mean, you can't you can't sit there and be like,
we're
always going to avoid
the Cardinals.
best pitchers.
The Cardinals went up against Walker Buehler, and look what happened. Walker Buehler wasn't good. I mean,
he wasn't good, but he held. I think he was holding a lead when he exited the game, was he not?
Yeah, and then Pedro Baez came in.
So I mean, how can you say, you got to Walker Buehler? Well, you got to him, but you were still losing. So I mean, that doesn't really hold.
You think the Cardinals sign Walker? Or do you think the Cardinals sign Michael Wacha after this year?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. He's probably been their best pitcher this year. I mean, I don't know how much of what that says about the rotation, but he has been their best pitcher. Obviously, it's a contract year, so most players play better in their contract years.
Berglund. Sorry.
It depends, man. I mean, I don't know. Because you gotta expect this is Wainwright's hurrah. So he'll be exiting the rotation. You'll have Michaelis. You'll have Flaherty. You'll have Hudson. It depends on what you do with Reyes. Man, you almost have to. You almost have to, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Because I don't think Gomber's a starting pitcher.
No, I mean Gant maybe, but he might be suited. He might be better suited for that bullpen role. I mean, look at him right now, 0.77 ERA. He's got a save. He's 3-0. Opponents are hitting .088, a WHIP of .86. So, I mean, it's not like he's probably settled into a bullpen role. I mean, obviously things can change. You can stretch a guy out and all those kinds of things. But Gant might be one of those guys that might be better suited to being a bullpen guy. So we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking one of those Mets players, one of those Mets pitchers.
I take Mets in a heartbeat because they're not going to trade Syndergaard or DeGrom, or at least, because you wouldn't think so because they extended DeGrom, but
yeah, but Syndergaard might be gone. I mean, what would you give up for Syndergaard?
Not Flaherty.
Well, no, that'd be trading. That would be trading a younger version of Syndergaard for himself. So, I mean, yeah, no, you wouldn't do that. But is there a scenario where you could see them being able to pull Syndergaard away from the Mets without giving up younger like talent?
I don't think so.
No, you don't think if the Mets would be like, hey, give us Nolan Gorman?
No, hell no.
Why not? You just signed Carpenter to an extension.
That gives Gorman time. What did you say?
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. What if they?
What did you say though? That contradicts what you told me over message.
I didn't say I do it. I just said, what if the Mets said, "Hey, Nolan Gorman for Noah Syndergaard"?
No, I don't think they do it.
I'm just throwing out hypotheticals.
What do you think? What do you think?
I'm just throwing out hypotheticals.
Okay, what do you think though? So you asked me. I'm going to ask you.
I don't know. I mean,
give up.
It depends on where they're at.
The most talked about prospects since Albert Pujols. You
really? Oscar Tavares wasn't more talked about than Albert Pujols?
Well, since Oscar Tavares and Pujols. Okay.
All right.
You're going to give up the best prospect the Cardinals have had since those two. Okay. Hitting prospect, that is.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you're pitching...
Stop with the hypothetical stuff and you tell me. Would you? Come on. Yes or no?
Like I said, it depends on where they're at. But
I'd want Pete Alonso, too. If they're gonna do that, pry him away, I want Pete Alonso.
Well, but maybe that's not a fair trade.
Yeah, it is because if you're given a big time power hitter, you better get one back, and Pete Alonso is going to be that.
Well, I mean, they've got a guy, 5th ranked prospect, Malcolm Nunez at third base. So wouldn't that give you the ability to free up a Nolan Gorman? I mean, you got Montero, a third base option. I mean, just going down the list, Edmundo Sosa is a third base option. So, I mean, it's not like you're looking at it and you're like, he is our only third base option.
No, but
in the minors,
he's the top third base option.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. But if they were to say, we'll give you Syndergaard for Nolan Gorman, wouldn't you have to at least stop and go?
I'd want a bat too. I'd want a bat too. If I'm going to give up Gorman, I'd want a bat.
I mean,
yeah, Alonso.
But would they be? But is he one of their top prospects?
No, he is. Since we're giving top prospect, we're getting top prospect.
But we would also be getting Syndergaard, so that's an uneven trade. So
and Matt,
that's the thing.
No, wait, no.
But that would mean we'd be getting 3 guys for one guy.
No, wait, I'm sorry, not Matt's, but
no,
Gomber.
So you're gonna trade like top prospects and one of their best pitchers for a guy that is still in the minors for us? Yeah, no. That just does not work. I'm just saying, when the time comes, the trade deadline rolls around, it might be something to think about.
Hell no.
I'm just saying it might be something to think about. Just putting that out there.
I traded Mundo Sosa before I trade him.
Well, of course you would, because he's like 28th out of the 30 top prospects on the team. No duh would you trade the 28th over the first, but does that get you Noah Syndergaard? Probably not.
It gets you Zach Wheeler, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right there saying that? It gets you.
I mean, it's better. It'd be more closer than getting Syndergaard, but I wouldn't say I wanted Zach Wheeler. I'm just saying,
no,
you have to give to get, and you have to really weigh what you're needing.
But this also hinges on if the Mets don't sign him too.
Exactly. And it also depends. Like I said, there's a lot of factors. It also depends on where the Cardinals are at, where their rotation is at. I mean, if Wainwright's not in the rotation by the time the trade deadline rolls around and they're having to roll with a bunch of rookies that are kind of up and down, back and forth, and you need somebody to come in, and if Michaelis hasn't kind of rebounded back to what he was last year, you need someone to front that rotation. Maybe you bite the bullet and go like, look, we got to get a guy in here like Syndergaard, get him signed, and trade for him, trade a top prospect and get him signed. That might be the option and the route you may have to go. You may have to make a bold move. So I'm not saying it'll happen, but you never know. I mean, you're gonna have to throw something out bold if you're fighting for a spot and you need some pitching help. So I'm not saying it'll happen. Not even say that there'll ever be talks like that, because you're right. Syndergaard could be signed by the Mets and everything could be all hunky dory, and you go on from there and nothing will ever happen. But I mean, he's still there. He'd look pretty good in Cardinal red. Birds on the bat. Just saying. I don't know. For those of you listening, what do you think? You think the Cardinals could, should, would make a run for Noah Syndergaard?
Nick's watching right now. I think he might laugh at you.
If he was, he would have already told me.
What would Nick say? Because you and Nick have these conversations. You have these hypotheticals.
Not as much as we used to, unfortunately.
What did he used to say when you used to have all these crackpot theories?
What? Crackpot theories? What? What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right,
Crackpot theories.
The Cardinals play Milwaukee this week, and then they got the Mets this weekend. Hopefully, where do you expect them to be by the end of these?
At the end of the series with Milwaukee, I think we'll probably be about the same spot. We'll be either a half game behind or a half game up, depending. I mean, I think it's going to be a 2-1 series. There's not going to be a sweep. I mean, one team's going to win 2. The other one's going to lose 2. So, there'll be a half game.
It's a 3-game series.
I know.
Okay. I'm sorry. No,
2 is not 3, which would be a sweep.
I apologize. But, yes. Yeah.
So,
all right.
See, Matt, pluses and minuses are my strength when it comes to math.
All right. So let's get hockey here, because what I saw yesterday, and let's talk about the first 2 games. I get it. The first 2 games were really good. You played well on the road. They played the prototypical road game in Winnipeg, and they got the win. And it seems like Winnipeg's wanting us to retaliate, wanting the St. Louis Blues to retaliate. Now, what is your stand? Shouldn't Scheifele should be suspended? There is no way Scheifele should not be suspended for running our goaltender, no matter if it was.
Was he penalized?
No.
Was he penalized in the game?
No, he
was.
He was, but he wasn't there. He should have been there. Okay, what did you think when that happened? What did you think?
I was actually perfectly honest. I was actually surprised they called the penalty. Scheifele was in his space. Yes, he probably could have gone a different route, but
could have gone the other way. Could have gone the other way.
Do you know how fast hockey is? I'm no way defending Scheifele. I'm just defending the fact that he shouldn't have been suspended for that. There's no reason. No, he got penalized. I was shocked he got penalized. That stuff happens. You see it all the time.
It was a back and forth game. Well, game one.
They both were. The first two were back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, second one more so than the first.
Ryan O'Reilly. It seems like the Blues need to keep picking on Hellebuck's stick side because that seems to be his weakest point.
They were Perron's goal last night too.
The Blues played well the first two games because they had a good penalty kill. The penalty kill was on point. Game 3, on the other hand,
it wasn't really on point in game 2. They scored 2 power play goals in game 2. So, I mean, I wouldn't say the penalty kill was on point.
Not on point.
I mean, they need to.
Okay, it was on point only one game.
It was on point for one game for like 7 minutes, but you know. What games are you watching, man? What games were you watching?
I just saw game 3 yesterday, and it took me off.
So you didn't even see game 1 or 2?
No, I did. I was hoping for a sweep, but I knew it wouldn't happen. But my thing is, game 3 was so bad, and it wasn't Bennington. That one of those goals, maybe the goal Bufflin scored from the goal line, maybe.
I mean, it hit him in the mask. I mean, that's one of those things. 9 times out of 10, it hits him in the mask, goes the other way. I mean, it's not like. I mean, I don't think he could have done anything about it. It was just a hell of a good placement by Bufflin. But yeah, I mean, what two or three of those goals were guys just being wide open in front of the net. Patrick Laine and
well, what the hell were the Blues doing leaving Laine that open? I mean, come on, he's killed you this series so far.
But I also think that they thought they were getting the puck out of the zone, and it got held in.
Well, they didn't.
Well, exactly. But if they would have gotten it out and no one would have been there to take an outlet pass, you would have been pissed that no one was able to get the outlet pass. I mean, sometimes you got to take chances, and the Blues were taking chances, and it just so happened that Laine was, cherry picking and got the puck in front of the net. I mean, that's all he does is he cherry picks and bitches and whines. So, it's Bennington saved him in the first. I mean, that could have been 4-0 in the first. Winnipeg, just like that. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't Bennington's fault last night. The Blues were playing like they did at the beginning of the season. They weren't moving their legs. They weren't getting out of their own zone. They looked lackadaisical and just kind of, off for most of that game. So they just need, they just need to get back to what they were doing in Winnipeg in games 1 and 2. They were outlet passes. The stretch passes were killing Winnipeg. The defense for Winnipeg was jumping in like crazy last night. So the Blues need to be able to get those pucks out of the zone and get those quick outlet passes to take advantage of, the pressure of the defense. The defense are jumping in. Well, if the defense is jumping in, you're going to get some odd man breaks. They just weren't doing that last night. They were not getting those, the puck out of their own zone. They weren't able to get those outlet passes. So that's something that they need to work. I mean, they just need to be moving their feet. Barbashev was out there throwing his body all over the place. And
he was a pest.
While I applaud that,
he
wasn't doing that in games 1 and 2. And guess what? They won games 1 and 2.
You're saying he did that, and that's the reason we lost.
I'm not saying that's the reason we lost.
No,
but
not the main reason.
It seems like they got away from their game.
They were too. How do I say it? Confident because they won games 1 and 2?
Probably a little confident. Probably thought, hey, we'll use the crowd to our advantage, and we'll.
That crowd was quiet.
It was. I was shocked. I mean, the pregame, the lead up to the pregame, and all that stuff. That place was rocking. But so I don't know if it's the broadcast. If maybe like Fox Sports Midwest kind of filters out a whole lot of stuff. But yeah, it felt so dead during that game last night.
Well, and you know what? You can't say that because game 6 or game 7 against Chicago, that place was loud and you could hear it through.
I can't say that. I can because maybe it's true. Who knows? I don't know. Like that place should have been going absolutely. And you saw what Winnipeg was. You felt it in Winnipeg. You could tell there was something that crowd was just roaring and ready and just on it all night. Not the case last night. I have no idea I don't know what's going on, but I told you this many times throughout the season, going to games and stuff. just the entertainment, the in-game stuff, just the fans in general, just it never seemed to be like boom.
So, I mean, can I say it's kind of corporate the way that fan base was last night? It sounded like a Yankee game where it wasn't too loud, and
yeah, but when the Yankees were at their peak, when they were in the playoffs, that Yankee Stadium was going nuts every game.
So CNBC, Phil Miller was watching on CNBC, and it was as quiet as the Fox Sports feed. So, if not more, but
so there you go. So there's something I just don't know.
Well, I don't know how Kelly Chase yesterday. Did you by chance?
Oh yeah, I saw. Even though Fox Sports cut away from the pregame ceremony, I had to watch it on my phone.
Where can you find that? Because I want to.
Oh, I'm sure it's on the Blues website or something like that. But yeah, I mean, they were hyping it up on Fox Sports. They're like, oh, and we're gonna cut to the pregame stuff. They started it, and all of a sudden it went to commercial. And they're like, what the. Really?
A lot of fans were pissed off about that.
Yeah, every right to be. And yes, they came back with the Kelly Chase speech and all that stuff, which was really cool. Got you a little fired up. But man, I wanted to see what the whole hype was about the bracelets. Like, what I wanted to see what they were doing.
It wasn't as cool as you think. I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't as cool as you think.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, I'm a big fan of the on ice projection, especially in the playoffs, because they used that a couple times in the playoffs. Just something about on ice projection just makes it look cooler.
I don't know about that. I like the fan interaction. I like the fans getting involved.
I do too.
And the fans were getting involved. They were cheering. They were up. And then all of a sudden the game started, and it was like, okay, we're gonna sit down and just watch. Yay! I mean, like,
Wags, the way you said, yay.
That's what it felt like.
Can we clip that off and actually use that? Yay!
Yay! That's what it felt like. It was just like, it just seemed like everybody was like, yeah, woo, yeah, woohoo, game started. Okay.
It felt like the Masters, at least before.
It did. It felt like a golf match where you're just like, good job, goal, hit. I mean, in Winnipeg, somebody laid a big hit. That place was rocking. And
sorry.
You've got. I'm not saying that all the fans are like that. I mean, there were fans there probably that were just cheering out of their minds. But as a whole, it just did not seem like a cohesive fan unit, and that was really kind of disappointing. So, yeah, didn't see any of the pregame show until the next morning. It came back from commercial to show Charles Glenn singing the Canadian national anthem, and that was it.
That was it, yeah.
I mean, granted, being there probably would have been great and better, but let the fans enjoy it. I mean, the fans at home, they want to see it too, I'm sure. And I wanted to see it because I wasn't able to go down there. It would have been really cool to see. It would have gotten us hyped at home. I know that much. And I don't know. It just seems so.
Remember when the Blues used to put their hype videos, like before the season would start, they put them on their website or put them on their Twitter?
Yeah.
They haven't done that in a couple of years. And that would I don't know if it would help tremendously, but it would help just because I've gone to games this year alone and it's been quiet. I mean, yes, they sucked the first part of the season. I get it.
Well, yeah, even when they were going on their run. I mean, I went to the Toronto game with O'Reilly scoring the game winner in overtime, and that place went nuts when it happened. I mean, there are moments, but the overall game feel, granted, it wasn't the playoffs, so I understand that a little bit. But, we're in the playoffs now. We need a home ice advantage. We took home ice advantage away from Winnipeg, and we just couldn't rise up to the level.
Yeah.
We have an airport.
Yeah. So do they fly in somewhere else and then just bust to Winnipeg?
Yeah. It was a running joke on Twitter and St. Louis Game Time and all that. Changed their name to Winnipeg has no airport on Twitter and stuff like that. So that's like the big thing is, Winnipeg has no airport. How did the fans get here from Winnipeg? They can't fly. Ironically, your team's name is the Jets, but you have no airport. I mean, it's pretty funny. I mean, I follow Game Time on Twitter and a couple of their writers and all that, and it's fun to see them giving the other team, crap and all that stuff. But it's all in good-natured fun, I'm sure. I mean, no one's like really ripping on them.
Are they going to have to do sing-alongs the whole damn game for fans to get involved?
Hey, if that's what it takes, do it. I mean, got to get the fans involved somehow. And right now, it just doesn't seem like the fans are really involved. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things that until they get to a point where they're actually showing us that they're able to, go. I mean, we've been in the first round. We've been in the first round a lot. We've been in the second round.
We've been in.
Maybe until they get to the third round in the Stanley Cup when people are like, okay, well, maybe this is legit. And maybe a lot of these fans are like,
why fans are.
Maybe they're just like, hey, we've seen this before, and we're not going to get too high, too low until we actually start seeing something we haven't seen before. But you're not going to be seeing something that you haven't seen before unless you get loud and you get behind this team now. I mean, I know as a player, if there's nothing going on in the arena, you can fall into that, oh, okay, well, I'll just kind of go through the motions and play. But you get people there watching and cheering and just roaring when you're out there, you're wanting to give that extra level. You're wanting to go into that extra gear. Well, the Blues are out there playing and their fans are like, yay.
Well,
cool,
here's the thing.
Watch.
Well, here's the thing. Binnington looked absolutely amazing early.
He did.
I mean, that should have energized the crowd, period. That right there, the saves he was making, the first two anyway, were unbelievable, jaw-dropping. I can't even believe he made those types of plays.
And the one off his stick, too. I mean, the one off the handle of his stick, that was, it was a little bit of luck, but I think that was actually somewhat skill, too. And yeah, that should have gotten the crowd just on their feet, just going nuts. But they cheered, and then they sat back down. It's like we gotta be just full bore the entire time, or like Phil says, yeah, or we'll be out pretty quickly. We'll be out of the playoffs just like that. So I don't know. That's
what did he say? What was that whole?
Fans definitely need a bigger contribution for the next game, rest of the playoffs, or else it's WCS. There won't be any more playoffs.
WCS? Wow.
I mean, it's like, yeah, these fans have to get involved. They have to get involved, and they have to be involved from puck drop to the final horn. That's the thing. You can't just be, okay, when something happens, we'll cheer. No, I mean, you gotta get that place rocking the whole time.
I mean, granted, the Blues weren't playing well, but
how much of that was a symptom of not having a fan base like really behind you? Like I said,
it seemed like the first 5 minutes that fans were involved and it was loud there. But after that,
right? I'm just saying, the fan base, once they drop off, the play kind of dropped off. I mean, yes, they were getting a little bit handled in the first 5 minutes anyway, but it was a bend, don't break sort of thing. Then all of a sudden, it just kind of went, and then Winnipeg really started to put the pressure on. So I don't know.
I mean, I know it's 2-1. The Blues still have the lead in the series. And,
I'm not worried yet.
I'm a little bit just because I've seen things before, but I'm not worried in the sense that.
But Berube has come out and said there'll be more effort given in Tuesday night's game, and I actually tend to believe.
I do, yeah.
I never believed Mike Yeo or Ken Hitchcock or Andy Murray or Davis Payne or any of the other coaches when they said, "Oh, we'll be better next time."
Mike Keenan.
No, Mike Keenan. No, Berube has a lot of Mike Keenan in him in the sense of the fieriness. Like Berube, I know will fight for his players. He will yell at the rest. He will get on the other team. He will fight for his team. He would literally drop the gloves against Scheifele if he needed to.
Did you see on the broadcast there was a sign there?
Yeah. Like Berube will fight for his players. That fires you up. You know your coach is for you, and you'll do everything you can for your coach if he's going to be like that. So I think he actually has the ability to light fires under that team's ass. And I expect to see a better game. and feels like it was 5-3 in the final 10 minutes after the Steen goal. A 2-goal game in the playoffs with that much time left is still a game, but the fans were long deflated after that. I mean, I think the fans were deflated well before that even. I mean, I think when it was when Winnipeg scored those 3 goals, that was when it was like, okay, well, this ain't going to happen. And even when they got us back to 3-2, it still never felt like that fans were like, oh, well, we got a chance.
You know what? I kind of saw this coming when Maroon failed to score when that save was made by Hellebuck. I knew there was going to be a goal at the other end.
Well, Nostradamus, you should have put some money on it.
Because every time a big save is made, more than likely you're going to get a goal at the other end.
More than likely. Well, why weren't the Blues up 3-0 after those 3 big saves by Binnington in the first?
It's a good point.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's not always going to happen.
But with Winnipeg, how dangerous they are, you just
think the Blues are dangerous?
At last night, no, I didn't see that dangerous team that I saw win 11 straight games. Sorry, I didn't at all in that game. Their passing was terrible.
Yeah. And exit
and they had 8 shots in the first period.
First 2 periods.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah. Biggest thing about Berube is he'll also call you out if you're not up to your game. It's another aspect to Berube that's Mike Keenan like that Johan Hitch didn't have either. Yeah, that's exactly the point. Is Berube is that old school coach, but I think he's got a little bit of enough new school in him to where players respect that kind of thing. I mean, obviously, being a coach down in, being a coach in Chicago, and really kind of working with some of these young guys has actually given him a little bit of credibility. That the younger guys can say, look, this is how he is, but he gets the most out of us. And I mean, you've seen it. I mean, Robert Thomas has probably been one of the best players on this team in this series. Dude's 19 years old. You're getting a ton out of Yeah, you're getting a ton out of Sundqvist. You're getting a lot out of Maroon.
And people want to sit Sanford, and I tend to agree. I'm sorry.
I can't disagree with that. He hasn't wowed me.
And look, his defense, okay, whatever. But
what do you mean, whatever?
No, his defense is good. Whatever.
I don't think his defense is all that great either.
But turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'd rather have McEachran in there because at least he has a little bit of.
But see, Sanford has skill.
Because look,
no! Don't you even dare throw that out there.
Wait,
really?
Let me finish.
Really?
Let me finish.
No,
we're getting thrown around.
Stupid.
The Blues are getting thrown around.
No, they're not. They're not getting thrown around. The Jets are throwing their bodies at him, yes, but the Blues are letting it all bounce off. I mean, those 2 games in Winnipeg, you saw it. Yes, they were getting hit, but Winnipeg was getting frustrated. They were taking penalties. The Blues were smiling after all that stuff. You don't need a Thorburn out there just racing, bowling balling all over the ice, because then you're going to start taking penalties, and then the Jets will capitalize on it. Thorburn does not know. He does not need to see the ice at all in the playoffs. That's just asinine. Come on, man. You're better than that. You are better than that. And yes, you cannot leave Jets players alone in the slot. You cannot. It's just.
I wonder if Mike Sofka got in here when we were talking about the fan atmosphere and everything.
No, he wasn't. But he's also a Nashville fan too. So I mean, Blues before the Preds, but he's also a Nashville fan. So we're gonna have to really see what. Okay,
so when the Blues end up facing Nashville in the second round, where's he gonna lie?
Oh, he'll be rooting for the Blues.
Oh, BS.
He will be rooting for the Blues. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. He'll be rooting for the Blues. He will be.
Fine. I want to see him. What'd he say?
Look, his logo is Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's blue. It's not the yellow one. Come on.
Thorburn.
He is a liability. He's good. He's a good intel guy. He played in Winnipeg, so yes, he's good for intel. But his skate is never gonna hit the ice for a playoff game. And if he does, the Blues have lost the series well before then.
Yeah, he won't see the ice. Let's hope not anyway.
See, Blues always come first. Sanford with 21 minutes of ice time over the 3 playoffs games is a -1, 3 hits, and 1 block shot.
Thank you.
What do you mean, thank you? I was agreeing with you. I don't think he should be in the lineup either, but I'm just saying
thank you for making that point.
You made the point.
It makes a lot of sense, though. Who would you put in there? Because you've got Fabry. Would you play Fabry
I'd
when
probably
he's
put
had
Fabry in?
Why? Because
speed, skill.
Don't you think he's lost a little bit just on speed?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, he had 2 ACL surgeries on the same knee, but I think he still gives you a little bit of a different look than Sanford does. I mean, Sanford probably needs to sit for a game. I would not be surprised if they installed Fabry into the lineup
on the fourth line
on Tuesday. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
With Steen and Barbashev?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not a bad line, to be honest with you.
It's not, but I also don't think Sanford being on that line is bad either. I mean, yes, he's a -1, 3 hits, 1 block shot for a fourth line. That's not terrible. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do if they make any changes. Because
they should at least make one after a loss. I mean, come on.
Why? The same lineup won 2 games in Winnipeg.
True. That's very true.
So, I mean,
but you can see Berube
sending
a message to a guy who wasn't doing much out there, like a Sanford, though, because...
But why would you need to send a message if you've won 2 games in Winnipeg and all you have to do is play the same way that you played in Winnipeg?
Because you're at home, you're up 2-0, and you don't show any effort, something's going to happen.
I don't think so. I think they're going to stick with the same lineup. I mean... I think he's going to stick with the same lineup. And yes, Fabry has good numbers in the playoffs. 4 goals, 11 assists in 20 career playoff games with 2 power play goals. I mean, and like you said, like Phil said, it is before the 2 surgeries, but he did have a good series against Chicago when he was in there. So if they were to make a change, that would be the change that I would see them making is swapping in Fabry for Sanford. If they make a change, I don't think he does.
And that's going to suck because unless Sanford can prove
they won 2 games in Winnipeg with the same lineup.
Well, everybody was complaining about Sanford.
Even in the 2 wins? Even in the 2 wins, they were complaining about Sanford.
Come on. We're Blues fans. They complain about everything.
I'm just saying, you won 2 games in Winnipeg on the road in a hostile environment with the same lineup. You came back home maybe a little overconfident, and you lost the game 6-3. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to make changes. You won 2 games in a hostile environment. You took a 2-0 lead on the road with the same lineup. Now, if they go out there and play the same way on Tuesday night and lose again, then yes, that point, maybe you sit there and go, okay, we got to make some changes because they lost their momentum. But if they come out tomorrow night, play the same like they played in Winnipeg and win and go up 3-1, all of a sudden everything's forgiven.
To be honest with you, when I saw the way they played in the first period, it kind of looked like the way they played in game 2, where in the first period or game 1 or game 2, when they didn't have their legs under them, they just didn't look good at all. I had a feeling, I go, yeah, we're not sweeping this series. I guess it's the Blues fan in me, but I'm telling you, it did not look good. And even you would say that. You're a pessimist yourself.
I didn't think they'd win game 1. I mean, when they went down 1-0 on the Line goal and they weren't, game 1 was tough. And the fact that they were down 1-0 after 2 and they'd only won 2 games, coming from behind in the third period all year, you were like, okay, they're probably not going to win this game. But they are a different team. So, and Mike's right. The defense lost game 3 last night. 3 goals in a playoff game should be enough to win a game. Should be. I mean, look what Columbus did to Tampa. They scored 3 last night, and Tampa only scored 1.
We'll talk about that in a second because wow.
There's a lot of wows right now. I mean, we'll talk about it right now. Let's just start there in the East. Columbus is up 3-0 on Tampa. Best team in the league, 62 wins, franchise record, and Tampa's down 0-3. Kucherov missed game 3 yesterday. He was suspended for a hit in game 2. They just have not looked at all like the team from the regular season.
They're going to get swept.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think Tampa.
Game 4 is in Columbus too, so
it is.
That's why I'm saying
it is.
Now those fans, that was an atmosphere.
Exactly. That was the atmosphere the Blues should have had last night. I mean, it's baffling to me. It's incredibly baffling. And then you look over at, the Islanders are up 3-0 on Pittsburgh. Heck yes. Go Islanders. That was one of those picks that I was like, you can never bet against Pittsburgh. That was one
That
was one that I wanted to be wrong.
Did I
so
say
bad.
the Islanders?
I can't remember. I think you might have.
Yeah,
you might have. So you took the risk. And like I said, I think that was the one series I was like, I'm going to go with the Penguins, but I would be totally fine with me being wrong with that because I really don't like Pittsburgh. It's just you can't go against what they have done in the past. Jackets and Bolts will go all 7.
Oh God, no!
Why not? Columbus blew a 2-0 lead to Washington last year after winning the first 2 in Washington.
This is a different team, though. And yes, this is a better team, but it's a better regular season team. They haven't won a game in the playoffs yet. And they haven't done.
No, I'm talking about Columbus. Columbus is a different team than last year.
Yeah.
But they also blew a 2-0 lead to the eventual Stanley Cup champions last year. So.
Now, Boston and Toronto will go 7.
I don't know if Kadri's out for multiple games. I could see Boston ended up winning this in 5. I mean, you haven't seen anything from Matthews and Tavares yet. The goaltending for Toronto is still. I mean, it's Frederik Andersen who's a good goalie, but
he's not that good.
He's not amazing. So I mean, Boston could have all the momentum, especially if Kadri gets suspended for a significant amount of time for that cross check.
That was not necessary, by the way.
Of course not. That's why he got thrown out of the game and is going to get suspended.
How many games? Come on, it just.
Some of the pundits were saying 10. I'm thinking since playoffs games are kind of worth double, 1. Yeah, right. No, he'll be suspended. I'm gonna say he'll be suspended 5 playoff games, which would take him through the end of this series, essentially. So I'm thinking he'll just be suspended for the remainder of this series.
Toronto, man, on paper, they look like they can beat anybody. But the thing is, they
don't play games on paper.
Exactly. You don't play games on paper. So
I mean, yeah, it's not going to happen.
We know this series is going to be a sweep with Washington and Carolina.
I don't know. Carolina started to look decent, and that game Game 2 went to overtime. So it's not like Washington went in there and handled their business solidly. Carolina played well in Game 2. They took it to overtime. So I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think Carolina will get at least 1, especially coming back home to North Carolina. I think they'll get 1. Do I think I think the Islanders will probably sweep the Penguins. But once again, it's Pittsburgh, so you never leave. Nothing's ever definite with them. I could see them winning the next 3 and taking 7.
Or the Islanders could be the old Washington Capitals and
choke. Yeah. Like I said, it could very well happen. But Robin Lehner's been playing very, very well in this series. They're getting goals from a lot of different sources. Jordan Eberle's been playing out of his mind. I really like the Islanders. I think they and they've really embraced that we mentality of it's not me, it's we, and they're playing very, very well right now. So
see, this is what I want to talk. Every atmosphere, it just gets on my nerves because I know Blues fans can be louder because I was at Game 7 against Chicago.
Yeah,
every atmosphere I've seen from every game I've watched is better than St. Louis. I don't know why in the hell that is because you got a good team. Get behind them.
I'm not disagreeing whatsoever.
That's the one thing me and you don't disagree on.
Exactly.
I am so tired of seeing the Masters during a week, after it's over. I'm so tired of seeing a baseball game after it's over. In terms of crowd noise.
Oh, you don't think baseball games can be rowdy and rambunctious?
No.
Were you not at Game 6 of the World Series?
Okay, that's playoff crowd.
I know.
But
we're talking playoff crowds.
But they weren't that loud to begin that game. I'm talking regular. Well, you're right there, but
regular season and playoffs are wildly different.
But seriously,
in the playoffs, you need to up
Winnipeg
your game.
got quiet too. There was a time.
Well, yeah, because the Blues made them quiet. And the Blues shut them down.
Well, it seemed like Enterprise Center, they were doing everything they can to get this crowd involved. It just wasn't happening because of, and you know what? I can also blame play on the ice a little bit. There was a time where, that goal by Maroon could have been in, which, by the way, I keep saying that was a great save.
It was.
But
I think the place would have exploded if Maroon would have scored that goal. I really think it would have. And you could tell it was building because they saw that coming. Like they could see Hellebuck leave the puck and no one was there. Maroon was there and the net was wide open. You could tell that puck would have gone in. That place would have exploded.
You know what I was thinking?
But how long would it have
You know
lasted?
what I was thinking? Alexander Steen against the Kings.
Yeah, but Steen stole a puck. Maroon it was just sitting there for him. I mean, he didn't have to do much of anything. All he had to do was grab it and whip it around. But Hellebuck got back and made a hell of a save on it. Haha, Hellebuck, hell of a save. Haha, that's great. But yeah, how much of it after they would have exploded with that tying goal? How long would that have lasted? Would they have been on their feet the rest of the game?
Was it loud? It was loud when Tarasenko scored.
It did get loud, but then it went right back down until Maroon almost scored. Would it have lasted? That's my question. I mean, we would have seen what the true fans would have been like if he would have scored that goal. So, moving over to the Western Conference, Nashville and Dallas are tied 1-1. Game 3 is tonight. So that's a series that if you're a Blues fan, you hope goes 7 because you really want to see those two beat each other up. Because if the Blues advance, they're going to be playing one of those two teams. And you really want to see somebody just getting beat up and not being very well off when we play them, if we play them. Calgary and Colorado are tied at a game apiece. Nathan McKinnon won in game 2 in overtime for Colorado. So that's a series that could go pretty deep. And then Vegas took a 2-1 lead over the Sharks last night with a Mark Stone hat trick. So Vegas, I don't know. Vegas very well could win that series. I think they might. Poor who was it? Pavelski. Man, Joe Pavelski is getting beat up. Game 1, scores a goal off of his mouth, loses all of his teeth. Not all of them, but he lost some teeth. They were searching the snow in the net for his teeth. Game 2, he takes a block shot in a very uncomfortable place.
Oh,
very
yeah, I
place.
saw that.
So he's just getting beat up left and right. So, well wishes and an ice pack to Joe Pavelski.
Okay, I wish we could pull this up right now because I shared something with you.
Oh, no, I was actually getting to that. Last night, man, I tell you what. Vegas.
Did you even know that before I sent that to you?
Yeah, I saw it earlier in the day. Yeah, Vegas knows how to troll, man. Vegas knows how to troll. So Evander Kane and Ryan Reeves, long live Ryan Reeves, those two were chirping all night. And they finally, at one point during the game, they finally dropped the gloves. And as soon as the fight was over, Vegas just trolled the hell out of Evander Kane. What'd they play, Joe?
I wish we had that pulled up.
No, what did they play?
Baby Shark.
I mean, that was the perfect troll.
The biggest troll job ever.
It was great. I mean, I think when you posted that, you commented, you're like, huh, can you really believe that? I know you probably hate that. I was like, no, I love it, man.
No, you hate the song. I mean, like,
I've never really heard the song in its entirety. I don't have children, so I don't really have to deal with it. But it was perfect. It was great. They know. I mean, Vegas knows how to. I mean, it's Vegas. They know how to put on a show. I mean, from their entrance to just everything that they do throughout the game, all that stuff. That's an entertainment atmosphere. And then they nailed it last night with the Baby Shark song after the fight. So, I mean, Vegas games are games I want to go to. Reese had a smile on his face pretty much that entire game. Yeah, because he knows he's getting in the Sharks' heads, which is great. I love Ryan Reeves. Do I want him on this team?
Yes.
No.
Well,
why? We don't have
Reeves
a line for him.
Reeves does have the ability to score.
He does, but we don't have a line for him. He wouldn't fit
fourth
in
line.
His team. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
With Barbashev and Steen.
No, I just don't think he fits with the team and the style that this team wants to play.
Barbashev doesn't fit the fourth line either, but yet he
does.
I mean, he does.
This team wants to be more skillful 4 lines deep. And that's what they've gotten. They're skillful from the top line to the fourth line. Alexander Steen is on the fourth line.
He's embraced it.
Exactly. He's best suited for that role right now. You've got 4 lines that are skill level lines. And yes, they're getting, there are times where you're going to get knocked around a little bit, but even our stars are built bigger.
That call, I want to bring up that call that wasn't made on Schwartz, pure BS. That was because we've seen Schwartz have injuries because of that same play.
Yeah, but that was a tough one for me because it looked like Schwartz was actually already in the process of going down when he was pushed. So I don't think I would have complained if they would have made a call. But that one was a tough one. That one was definitely on the line of being semi-dirty. And Mike's right. Maroon is a better fit than Reeves. Maroon has better board play on the half boards. I mean, you can see it. I mean, I don't think Ryan Reeves would have set up Tyler Bozak for the game-winning goal in Game 1. Maroon would have. Maroon did. I mean, I think the way that the team is constructed, Reeves does not fit. And I hate to say that because I like the guy. I like the way he plays, but it's just as this team is currently constructed, I don't think he fits on this team. I think he definitely fits better on Vegas. He does. That's just kind of how it is. So,
but still, Baby Shark. Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
It was great. You have to share that to the page.
I will.
So people can see it. I mean,
I'm surprised fans weren't laughing. Like,
I'm sure they probably were. I'm sure the fans in Vegas probably got it. Yeah, and Reeves and Maroon would be fighting too much for that enforcer spot. There would only have been a place for one of them.
Okay.
So now, granted, can you imagine this? If Reeves would have came back, essentially we would have gotten Klim Kostin, Oscar Sundqvist, and then we would have gotten Ryan Reeves back. Ryan Reeves would have been traded for guys that are on the team that's going to help, and he would have came back, which would have been pretty good. But yeah, his personality totally fits with Vegas. He's a showman, and what's Vegas? All about showmanship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it works perfectly for him. And tell you what, that'd be one hell of a series if the Blues were able to meet in the conference finals against Vegas. That would be interesting.
I'd like to see. Reeves would beat the crap out of Maroon.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they'd ever get to a point where the Blues would ever allow Reeves to get into a fight with any of the Blues players.
No, Reeves would do it still. It doesn't matter.
Reeves would, yes. But you have to have a willing partner.
Maroon took a fight. I forget who it was against this year. I think it was against Edmonton, where he took a fight and he got his ass beat.
Not really.
I forgot.
That game. Yeah, it was at center ice. I don't think he got his ass beat. It was a pretty much even draw. And then he also beat the crap out of the guy in Anaheim. So, I mean, it's not like Maroon wouldn't fight somebody, but I'm just saying the Blues know what Reeves' game is. So don't play into it. And we're getting way far ahead of ourselves. That's 2 rounds away, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to go on between then and there. But, I mean, if the Blues are smart, they know his game. So stay away from that game, and you don't have to worry about it. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. So that would be a pretty fun series to see. Who cares if Reeves beats up Maroon as long as the Blues win? I mean, how about Shen going after Buffalo last night? That was pretty nice.
I could see that being a fight.
Oh, dude, Shen goes after everybody. That's the one thing about Shen's game that I think really surprises me and surprises a lot of people. It's just how physical and aggressive he is. And I love it because you don't see those. He's not a small guy, but you don't see smaller guys really being that super physical and going after guys. And Shen does. And I love it. I mean, he fought McKinnon last year against Colorado. That was pretty cool. I was at that game. It was, I mean, those things happen. I love his physicality. He does it in a smart way too. He very rarely, puts himself in a position to take a really bad penalty or anything like that. So, I like that about Shen's play. So going into tomorrow night, we just need to be better. Just need to be better.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We definitely need to be better. We need to score the first goal. If we can somehow score,
we scored the first goal last night.
We need to score that first goal and actually keep the intensity. The
now
power play needs to be better too. Because Penger said during the game, and I think you heard it.
Although they did score 2 power play goals last night.
No, I mean, no, this is before they scored the 2.
Right.
But he goes, They need to be less predictable.
Mm-hmm.
What does he mean by that?
Well, I mean, you know exactly what they're doing every single time they come down. They're going to pass it between the two guys on the half boards, and one of those three is going to shoot it. And occasionally, you're going to put the puck down below the goal line and try and stuff it in. That's going to happen. So they need to find some way to change it up. Maybe they need to play with two forwards behind under the goal line, or I don't know. I just don't know. I liked what happened when Dunn came out there on that first power play unit.
How about that play by Parayko going in, drawing a penalty?
Yeah, was going. Still though, Dunn's ability on that power play goal by Tarasenko to make it 3-2. Dunn's 2 times kept that puck in when it should have been out. That was incredible, and it led to a goal.
And he needs to get going this series too. I mean, Tarasenko scored a goal, but it's not like he's been visible in this series.
Well, yeah, but how much of that is the Jets keying on him, and how much of that is Tarasenko just not being able to play?
How hard? Well, no, because a lot of and this is a fan perspective. I don't know if you saw the same thing, but they were talking about Tarasenko puck watching, and basically a post said, "Stop puck watching. You're not Ovechkin. You can't just wait for the perfect shot. You have to keep moving."
He has been moving.
Okay,
he's been shooting the puck into people, though. That's the thing. The blocked shots is really the concern for this team, is them not getting clear shots onto the net.
Petro, yesterday, he couldn't get a puck on net to save his life.
He's got a couple on net.
A couple, okay.
The whole team has had problems getting the puck on the net. There's been a lot of blocked shots by Winnipeg, and it's once again it's being too predictable, and that's kind of where it is. Too much passing between the players, just waiting for one person to overcorrect. Dunn had 2 great keep-ins to get that power play goal. Been one of the more active blue liners. Yes, and the Jets are locking Tarasenko down, and the Blues are not locking down Line.
What did Philip say?
It's just too much passing between players.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. They're waiting. It's to your point, waiting for that perfect shot, but it's because they're passing way too much.
How do you score goals in the playoffs?
You get it past the goalie.
No. But
that's
I was
how
waiting.
You score in the regular season too.
You being a hockey player, you had playoffs. How do you score goals? Shots, and rebounds. You get dirty goals.
Well, yeah, that's not. There haven't been very many dirty goals in this series on either side. To be perfectly honest,
one that Maroon scored.
Yeah, the one that Maroon scored was. Everything else, I mean, on both sides, there haven't been a whole lot of dirty goals as far as getting into the crease, stuffing, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of them have been clean goals. Haven't really been a whole lot of deflection goals either. I mean, I think most of the Blues goals have been just straight in. And like you said, on stick side of Hellebuck, which they need to continue to pick that apart as much as possible. He does not look comfortable when it comes to stick side play. So, and yes, I know that it's a double entendre and it's probably sexual and all that stuff. But I can see that in your face. You're like,
gotta laugh like you make me laugh like Eddie Murphy.
It's not a bad thing.
No,
Eddie
it
Murphy
isn't.
was pretty damn funny in his day. So, all right.
Traffic in front of the net.
Yeah, traffic in front of the net.
And we didn't have that. I mean, who's a guy on this team?
We've never had that.
Who's a guy on this team?
We've never had that. Don't say
Maroon should have been that guy. We brought him in to be that guy.
Did we?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Because I think they brought him in
to win board battles.
I think they brought him in to win board battles.
To win
and
board
you can't
battles.
win board battles by being in front of the net.
On the power play, though?
Let's still need to win board battles.
Who else on this team can stand in front of the net?
Ryan O'Reilly?
Shen? Shen?
I mean, but you also look at Washington. Do they have a guy that, like, sits in front of the net? No. TJ Oshie goes to the front of the net, but he also slides into that slot spot and picks apart goaltenders sometimes. So it depends on the philosophy that you want to run. I mean, if you want to run with a strict umbrella with a guy in front of the net, then yes, you put Maroon there and you tell him that's your play. But that's not how they have it set up. They've got the umbrella with the guy down low, with one guy kind of in that TJ Oshie slot position, but teams are kind of collapsing into that because they know what's coming. So I don't know. I don't know what has to change. I mean, what I do know is they need to find ways to get Tarasenko more shots, and they need to have more movement on the power play. They need Dunn out there running it. Dunn needs to quarterback it and be done with it. And
stop with Tarasenko in the point. I don't know if they've used that this series.
Once. I saw him out there once.
And were you saying, what the hell are you doing? Like, were you thinking to yourself, what the hell are you doing? You saw
Yeah,
that?
a little bit. All
right. What did Phil say?
So, do you put Maroon on power play? Keep in Bozak. I argue the next four with the best net front presence is 21, game winner for game one. Yeah, I mean, I think Bozak is probably the guy you keep there, but I mean, maybe you switch it up for game four and throw Maroon out there and just see what he can bring for you. I mean, yes, they scored 2 power play goals last night, but they were also 0 for 7 in games 1 and 2. So, how much of that was Bozak and how much of that was just, I mean, to be perfectly honest, the goal by Perron was because Petro whiffed on a pass, found Perron, and he came in, skated in right down the middle and scored. The second power play goal was a broken play that Dunn kept in twice and found Tarasenko wide open, and he scored. Neither one of those was due to execution by the power play unit. It was just happenstance. So, I don't know. Maybe you do change it up. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see how tomorrow night plays. So
it'll be interesting to see what tomorrow night brings with the show before the show.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what that is.
I wonder because I don't know if you saw it, but KMOX Sports kind of put it. Did you?
Yeah, they did. That's what I was watching.
Do you think KMOX would do that tomorrow too?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Okay. Okay, get it over with.
Actually, the first thing I was going to ask you is where did you find your polo? Because you didn't have it last week.
It was. Yeah, I had it last week. It was the week before.
Oh, was it the week?
Yeah, it was the week.
I was pretty sure it was last week.
No, it was the week before.
Well, where did you end up finding it? Was it in the laundry?
No, it wasn't. But okay, go ahead.
Where did you find it?
In the bathroom, in my bathroom.
Oh my gosh, Joe! Did you wash it at least?
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't. You were gonna no.
Yes, I did.
Oh, Joe!
Stop with that.
Joe.
Okay, come on. I'm ready for the ribbing.
Ripping for your pleasure? Is that what? What?
No,
what?
I'm ready for the shit talking.
Oh, okay. So, Joe, what after the Masters yesterday? So, Joe watched the Masters, right?
Yeah.
Watched the Masters. So you saw Tiger Woods win.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point after the Masters, you messaged Scott and I. We didn't ask him anything like that or anything like that. There really wasn't a whole lot of conversation. Let's see. We were talking about Tiger Woods' girlfriend and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, at about let's see, what time was this?
Guys, you're gonna laugh at this. So
this is at 2:19 in the afternoon. No provocation. No, hey, what are you guys watching now? In fact, I think the Cardinals were on at this point.
No, they're
getting ready to come on.
Getting ready to come on.
Joe sends out this message to Scott and I. How boring am I? Watching figure skating. And so
you created a poll for that?
So I was like, women's? Please say women's. And Joe goes, pairs. And I was like, what are you watching?
It was the figure skating world championships.
So I don't know. I was like, Joe, Cardinals pregame is on.
It wasn't.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit was on.
You like Law and Order?
Oh, SVU is great. Yeah.
Okay, just keep.
Yeah. Well, no, we're not getting off of this. You were watching figure skating yesterday. You were watching figure skating yesterday, Joe. I mean, come on.
Oh my God.
Come on. And then he goes, please bring this up on the show. He wanted this. He wanted people to know that he was watching figure skating yesterday. He went from the Masters. You could have watched the post game of the Masters and seen Tiger talk about his round. You could have done any of that. And you watched pairs figure skating. Way to get hyped up for the Cardinals game. Way to get hyped up for the Blues game.
I think that's why we lost.
I mean, maybe you were wanting to be like, hey, look, I'm going to be watching something on ice later. I got to get into the ice, the cold mood or something. I don't know what it was, but
have you seen some of those girls though? No, never mind the guys.
That's why I was asking if it was women's, because I can understand that. You could be like, oh, women's figure skating, it's very graceful, it's very sensual and elegant and all that stuff.
So we got one vote, probably, and it says, no, a man should not enjoy watching figure skating ever.
I said, can a man enjoy watching figure skating and still be considered a man? No. I mean, I kid.
No, you don't. But
no, I've
really,
watched figure skating in the Olympics.
It's the Olympics, though. You don't just watch it.
It's a very elegant sport. It's something I could never do. It's amazing what they can actually accomplish out there. I mean, in my mind, I would never go out on the ice and then jump and flip around. Like, that stuff is incredible. It's a very demanding sport.
Hey, I will say this. I wasn't looking at the dudes at all. So you
glad you clarified that. Glad you clarified that. I was just giving you trouble, man. I mean, figure skating, there's no way I'm crapping on figure skating because it's
no way you're watching it either.
I mean, I'm not going out of my way to watch it. No, I mean, like I said, but if it's the Olympics or something like that and it's Team USA, yeah, I'll watch it and I'll root for them and I'll cheer them on and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm not going out of my way to watch it.
All right. Do we have
same thing with gymnastics?
Do we have any comments on that? Because I'm interested to see what like.
No, I don't think anybody's commented. I think they're still laughing at you.
Philip's probably still laughing at me. Mike Sofka's still laughing at me. And
there's probably a lot of people still laughing at you, Joe.
So,
oh goodness,
oh my God, that's hilarious.
You wanted this though.
Yeah, I did. No,
you said, "Hey, talk about it, please."
No, to be honest with you, I wanted Scott. If Scott was here, actually, I'll get his reaction next week. Like, what was Scott's reaction? Did I forgot to read that message? Do you remember?
He did not reply.
Yeah, Scott was probably thinking, Joe, what the hell, man?
I sent a shake my head emoji thing, but yeah, I did not. He did not reply to that, which once again he was probably laughing way too hard to respond to that. So, I mean, oh boy, Joe. Sometimes I wonder.
Oh my God. Oh man, that was freaking hilarious.
And you wanted us to talk about it. I wouldn't have even said anything, but you're like, please talk about this on the show. Oh, goodness.
If you want to have some fun, because, like sometimes we get way off topic and not even sports having fun. So that's at least a sport. Is figure skating a sport?
There you go. You could maybe argue that he's trying to take in as much of professional ice skating as he can in the overlap of STL sports seasons. You had to find something to fill the gap between Cardinals and Blues and all that kind of stuff. So that there's an argument for you there. So
but
were any of the skaters from St. Louis?
No, but there were two. Team USA was first. So one of the pairs from Team USA was first, and they were good. So
would you give them 10.0s, 9.0s, 9.6s, 9.0s? Oh man, harsh judge.
I'm not Johnny Weir. Or am I? I don't know at this point.
You definitely don't dress like him. I can tell you that much. That might bring some more viewership to the show. Start dressing like Johnny Weir.
So
I'm not. You can't.
Be like Howard Stern, but not really. Imagine if this show was like Howard Stern.
Sometimes it might get there. You never know. I don't know. Oh, goodness, Joe.
Oh, what a great show this has been. And we ended off on the ribbing of Joe Hamilton because he watches figure skating and still calls himself a man.
Let me get you a quick prediction. What do you think about tomorrow night? What do you think the Blues do? Think they win? Think they lose?
3-2.
You think 3-2?
Yeah.
I think it'll be 4-1. I think the Blues win 4-1 tomorrow night. I think
they need to contain Laine.
Yeah.
Laine's killed you. Contain him. And get louder, St. Louis. Get louder.
You're not very loud right now.
Really?
Yeah, you're really not. Yeah. You need to get loud, Joe. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, May I please have your attention? Get loud!
Make this place like Winnipeg. Make it hard to come in here. Make them fear coming in here. That's the thing. That's the thing. So get on your feet.
Look
cheer.
at the last 3 games. They've killed us 6-3, 8-4, and 5-1.
Yeah, they're not scared coming in.
No.
So
Make them scared to come here.
Make them scared to come in here. So, all right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully with a Blues victory in a series and moving on to face a second round opponent. We'll see. So until then, I'm Mike Wags, Wag and Connect.
I'm Joe, Jumpin' Joe Hamilton.
Joey Butler.
Wow. Anyway, we will see you guys next week.